McCauley, Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. And you know, this is true in weight loss, but it's also so much more, it's truer in life itself. Are we honest? Are we an honest person? Are we honest with other people? Are we honest with ourselves? Or do we have this story that we tell ourselves and that we believe it? You know, like you gain 3 pounds and you say, but I worked really hard. And you believe it. And the thing is, what we're going to talk about tonight is what it really means to be honest with yourself. You know, there's so many people who say, I am not a judgmental person. I always say people who always prelude things and say, I'm as honest as the day is long. Or there's not a prejudiced bone in my body. I mean, whenever people prelude things, I'm like, Or here's one I love. I always make a long story short, and you know that when they start with that, you're like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. They're going to go on and on and on and then repeat it again and again and again. So, and another one that I love is the people on like American Idol. When they get up and they do an audition and they're like, you know, first I was afraid, I was petrified. And then they get up, you know, they don't get on the show and then they're out in the back room crying, going, I'm going to make it. I'm so good. And I'm saying to Bob, they're not good. Do they really think they're good? And the thing is, do you believe things about yourself that just aren't true? And that's what we're going to talk about. Being honest with yourself means really seeing yourself clearly. It means stepping away from the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, because our actions speak so much louder than those stories. And a lot of people, we have stories that we're not good enough, or that we'll never ever get to our goal weight. We'll never be the, like Norm said, part of the group that are here for maintenance, because we'll always gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, because we're failures. We are weight loss failures. We could win the Nobel Peace Prize and get up there and say, yes, I won the Nobel Peace Prize, but I'm still fat. What can I do? You know, we measure ourselves with our weight. And you know, being honest with yourself is something you can get better with daily, hourly, by practicing, even minute by minute. And you know, I really tried it this week. And one of the things that I really suffer with is the story that I tell myself, where when things are going a little good, I always dredge up something I did wrong in the past. And then I several times this week I went, oh no, Ellen, I will not allow you to go there. Let it go. Let it go. And it really helped. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then sometimes I say, you don't have to do that, Ellen. You've done enough today. Walk away from it. You don't have to do it. The world isn't going to end if I don't read the newspaper. The news is still going to go on. Set it aside. Well, it's electronic, so just close that file, you know. Also, one of the things we can do by being honest with ourselves is, do you ever get so immersed in a project? Like what I can't even think of something now. Maybe you're building a model train, which I've never done in my life. But let's say that's what you're doing. And you're so immersed in it that you lose sight of time and whatever you're doing. You don't judge yourself. You don't dredge up the past. You're just at peace with yourself doing a task. When you are so immersed in doing something, when I get here at Pray It Off, I'm so immersed in doing this meeting. I'm not sitting here going, I'm giving this meeting, but I'm dredging up 1968. I don't have time to do that. So they're saying to focus completely on it. Now that article is on the back of your log sheet because I really want you to take a good look at it throughout the week. And then that same honesty goes into our weight management, because it's one of the facets of losing weight that's overlooked, but it's really important. It is really, really important. There are so many people, and I don't mean anything bad about this, I really don't, that are in this group that think they're working hard, and they're not. They are allowing things like their life, say, I'm tired, I worked hard, I'm stressed, I deserve to do this. I deserve to have dessert because I'm out to dinner. They tell themselves as a story. And then if we go down there, it says, who in my life is making weight management difficult? A lot of people will point the finger. Oh, my husband. Oh my gosh, I have to cook for him and I got to he won't eat good food. He wants his pasta. And, oh, my husband, he wants me to bring in those breads and oh, I got to bake him dessert. My husband's making my weight loss management difficult. Or, my kids. I have to have these things in the house. My kids, I have to feed them. I have to do this, I have to do that. We can sit here and blame 8,000 different people for our weight loss. But I always say, are they opening your mouth and shoving the food down your throat? Is there anyone, is your husband, and if he is, like if you say, oh, here, honey, here's your pasta, and here's your bread and your Italian bread. I'm just going to have a salad here with some turkey on it. Is he going to divorce you over that? Is he going to say, whoa, I will not allow you to have a salad with turkey while I'm having my pasta? I think you need a little bit more work on your marriage than the salad. You know what I mean? You should be allowed to eat whatever you want. So the person in your life making weight management difficult, who is it, everybody? Ourselves. All right, do we expect to do this for a while and then go back to our old lifestyle? This is huge. This is what I always thought. I'm going to diet and then go back and do whatever I want. I'm going to diet, go back and do whatever I want, and that's where you get this, boingity, boingity, boing. And one person tonight said, Ellen, I read that packet last week. It was so depressing. And I said to her, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I didn't quite grasp it at first. She goes, just wrapping my head around that I got to watch what I eat for the rest of my life. And it can be depressing on one hand, but on the other hand, we can turn that story and say, I'm alive. All I have to do is watch what I eat, and I can be more flexible and live longer lives and be there for my grandchildren. We turn the story around. Then you say, what are the challenges that hold me back from managing my weight? There's real challenges, and then there's the ones that we use. Parties, going out to eat, we're too busy, we're too tired. Those are all the excuses we use to not be honest with ourselves. And then you have to look at what hasn't worked for me in the past. Oh, I think we can all talk about what hasn't worked for us in the past. And there's so many people that stayed the same this week. I stayed the same this week. What we need to do is be honest. Take a look at it. I tried to introduce a couple of different things to see how my body would react to it. Like, I really was hungry for kashi cereal with some almond milk because I haven't had it in a couple of years. But I didn't gain weight, so it's exciting for me to know that when I'm on maintenance, I can have some kashi and almond milk, but it's not something that I can eat to lose weight. So see how you make these trade-offs with yourself. Maybe there's something you like, and it's not making you gain weight, but what can make you lose weight? Being honest with yourself is so essential because so many people aren't in touch with their real emotions. I know people who have suffered childhood trauma that have never dealt with it. They have just denied it, put it under a carpet, said, I'm an adult now, it doesn't matter. And yet I believe these traumas in our lives that we're not being honest about can really affect not only our weight, but our everyday life. We have to, by being honest, it doesn't mean you have low self-esteem. It means you have a higher self-esteem because you know yourself better. You know your strong points, you know your weaknesses, and you can have an unshakable belief in yourself. You can say, Ellen, you might not be able to do everything. Like, they asked me to serve on the board of directors for the Syracuse Poster Project. And I am a huge fan. And then I thought about it, and I thought about the time commitment, and I thought about what's going on in our lives right now. And I wrote him an email, and I said, you know, I've got, you know, this commitment, that commitment, and I said, perhaps when I retire, if there's an opening, if we could revisit it. And he wrote me right back and said, your email was so refreshing because you want to do something, you really studied it, and you were honest about it, because so many people say they'll do something and then they don't commit. They don't come. There's people who signed up for this group and they haven't come yet. And I don't mean people with valid excuses. So you have to be honest with your time, with what you can commit to, and then you feel better about yourself. Because we can't do it all. I'd love to do this, this, and this, but sometimes you just can't. And then self-sabotage. I'm going to stop right there, Bob, because I realized that I went on to video 2 and I didn't do video